someone who understands the value of 500 dirham sunglasses will never understand the value of 5,000 dirham sunglasses. And I think that's where the communication gap comes in.
I don't think it's a communication gap. I think people can be price oriented.
When you say communication, I'm talking about understanding
Understanding
of the product.
Okay. Let me explain my vision on this. So an individual can be price focused or value focused. So even though if you have a specific budget, for example, you could still choose to make a purchase outside this budget if you see the value. So even individuals with a limited budget, they have the opportunity to make decisions based on value. However, that's very occasionally because most decisions are driven by the price. However, high value individuals, they have the capacity, so they have different options that they can choose from. And from there, they make the decision that suits their situation the best. So it's more about the individual and what drives them when it comes to their buying decisions.
So when you say high value clients, it means you're talking only from a value perspective. Now,
Yes.
value perspective, for me, I connect it with price.
Also, so it's two things. One is the price. So in high value, you work with premium pricing. So the price filters already a certain type of audience because maybe 80% of the audience cannot afford your product or your service.
Correct.
But there in that 80%, there might be people that cannot afford it, but they will make the means or they will make it happen to afford it. So those are the high value clients in that pool. And then you have the actual high value clients.
The one who was aspiring to be.
Yeah. And even in the high value pool where people have the budget, some people are not a high value client because they have the capacity, but they don't have the values and principles that match with your product. Say, for example, if you sell an exclusive watch and this watch is for a specific type of profile, you're selling it to investors that have a love for art. You don't want people walking around with your watch that have no connection to art. So on that level, values and principles are also important. And that's also part of the value to filter the right profiles that match with your product. It's not only selling what you have to anybody on that level, but only to the people, the selective few people that match with what you have to offer.
So where are these clients found? Are they found in the Bugattis? Are they found on the yacht? Or they are coming down from a private jet?
Also,
where are they from?
Also,
and how do you figure them out?
It's not always true that, the people that have all the luxury objects, that they're the only audience that you can be selling to. But because there's a lot of wealthy audience that is not visible. For example, we have a network in the top 1%, and the people in this network, you cannot find them on social media. You don't even...
Exactly.
You don't even know maybe what they look like. They're very confidential, very secretive, but they have an enormous...
I have many clients like that.
They have an enormous amount of wealth. So I think the common mistake that people make is that they look for what someone has or shows. But you should look at the way someone speaks and the language they use and how they interact with you. You can learn much more from that than just by looking at what somebody has. And I think a lot of people lose time by focusing on a superficial element of the high value client. High value, as I say, it's the amount of wealth, but it's also the values and the principles. So if I have a company and I communicate through my company about values and principles, what will I attract? High value clients that have the same values and principles as me. But if I only show off with empty materialistic things and think, that's how the rich people will find me, then I will get a lot of clients, but all of them will be nice and pleasant. I can tell you that. So that's why it's important, even on this level, to be as selective as you can, and it will make you more attractive, because if you're not easily accessible, then you increase your value as a business owner as well. And I think this is something that a lot of people oversee when they're trying to enter that high value market.
I will totally agree with you, because there was someone who had told me that it's the value of your clients will be figured out on your own reflection. So if you are a cheap client, you'll find out cheap clients only.
Absolutely.
So I think it's your own reflection. How do you see this?
Absolutely. I have a beautiful anonymous example from something that I experienced in Dubai. So there was a real estate company and they were focusing on top tier clientele. So I had a meeting with them to explain that how through one of my services, I could help them to grow in that market and create predictable meetings with these individuals. And the person said, I will not invest until I see results. So how am I going to give you results if you don't invest? But at the same time, before that, he gave me a 30-minute explanation about how he attracts clients that don't want to invest. And I was like, yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. So he was attracting, as you say, the reflection of the client
His
that he
own
doesn't
personality,
want.
yeah.
But you have to, especially in entrepreneurship, take risks. Like if you have a certain result at the same time, you need to take a new action to get a different result. And if you don't see that, then you will be stuck in a certain point for a long time. And I think a lot of people, they don't see that when the opportunity is right in front of them, you have to recognize it and you have to take action, because thinking is not creating results. Negotiating is not creating results. When people ask me, like, do you provide discount? I say, no, I sell value, not discount, And this is very funny because in Dubai, people are very keen on this.
And that's where I always tell my staff that, that the worst customers are the ones who are cheap. And when you see cheap, the customers that keep negotiating, the customers that keep sucking your time. Because one is they cannot afford our service. Secondly, we cannot give them the best service. And thirdly, it becomes a bad experience for everyone on the floor, including the good clients.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think 2 weeks ago, I closed an elite client in 5 minutes and 14 seconds.
Wow.
And that shows that people that are high value, they value their time. They don't value money. So within 5 minutes...
And also they're very clear with their decision making, I think.
Exactly. Within 5 minutes and 14 seconds, he told me, you tell me what you do, I tell you what I do, and then we can see if this is interesting. I explained what I did. He explained what he needed. We had a deal. I explained how everything works, and that the call was over and he went to the next meeting or whatever. He doesn't have time to negotiate. He could make a decision on the spot. And that's an elite client who understands time is important. And what he literally said to me is, I know that you guys can save me a lot of time and headache, so let's move forward. I didn't have to ask him, what is it interesting? What do you think about it? No, he told me.
Also, it comes out from that he does not have any limitations on his bank balance as well. It also comes out from there.
Yes, but that's not the case for every client on that level. So that's why you need to be able to filter people and ask the right questions as well and recognize their knowledge. Because sometimes you might encounter individuals, they have an unlimited bank balance, but they don't have an unlimited mindset, as I always call it.
100%.